Welcome to the Political Refs with Justin Criddle, Dan Snell, and Jesse Hall. Blowing the whistle on Washington, D.C. Now join the Political Refs. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen and listeners and sports fans, political fans, or just people interested into the world. I'm Dan Snell. Joining me tonight is Justin Criddle. Our great friend, Jesse Hall, the former NBA ref and one of the most fun guys we know, wasn't able to make it tonight, but stay tuned. You will enjoy Jesse. So Justin and I tonight, first we're going to explain this is the first ever Political Refs, the Political Refs show where we're keeping an eye on Washington, D.C. and America's leadership, what goes on in the world, and we're going to blow the whistle once in a while and let them know, hey, that's not the way that America needs to be behaving on the court. Now, we've got some ideas of what we're going to do. We're going to take each week. We're going to take some topics, 4 or 5 topics a week. We're going to talk about. We talk about people in a fair way because as referees, we adjudicate the game of basketball on the court, and we're going to adjudicate Washington, D.C. Justin, why don't you share a little bit about some of the ideas we came up with of what we're going to call each week?
Yeah, absolutely. So super exciting to be doing this for the first time. If you're watching, don't forget to like and subscribe and all those good things that go with the podcast. We're basically going to be calling all the things that we would call on the court: technical fouls, out of bounds, travels, violations, unsportsmanlike conduct, anything that is not by the rules, anything that is causing an advantage or a disadvantage, we're going to be blowing the whistle and calling Washington, D.C. on it. And it's a great time of year to start this podcast because there's plenty to talk about. We're going to be talking about a list of things tonight, see how it goes, get a feel for it, and just have some fun having this conversation with one another.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's great. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there going, wow, I love this. Somebody needs to blow the whistle on Washington, D.C. So we're going to be serious, but we're also going to have fun. Like we love the game of basketball. Justin played college basketball, loves the game. I referee basketball, as you know, and we've all loved Justin. We were all referees at the small college and high school level. We love the game. So we're going to talk about some topics tonight, and we'll have fun. So if you're watching this, you go, this is a good idea. We want you, as Justin said, excellent. Be sure and like this. Share it with some friends. Hey, check out these political referees and follow us and spread the word because every week we're going to be here for you, and that's what we're talking about. So listen, yes, Justin, what's let you start off. We're walking on the court here this week. What's one of the big topics this week we need to talk about?
The biggest topic I wanted to talk about coming into this, I had it and I said, oh, there's one I'm going to bring to the podcast, and that's a double technical foul on both Steve Bannon and Elon Musk.
Steve Bannon.
I'm sorry, Steve Bannon with the B.
Well, he deserved a technical. It's okay if we get his name because on the back of his jersey, it was probably written wrong. So yeah, now say it again: Steve Bannon and who? And Elon Musk.
Elon Musk. And I had never really heard too much about Steve Bannon before this. So that's definitely going to be
Yeah. So what's happening here before the election, before Donald Trump even takes office, he's brought in. Now, Elon Musk is a smart man. He's a multi-billionaire, he's worth $450 billion. So he's got a couple of dollars more than you and I. Steve Bannon just in the last month got out of jail, I think right before the election, because he didn't want to cooperate with people that were asking him questions. So both of them have egos that are pretty big. And on our court, we don't mind egos, right? On the basketball court, we don't mind egos. We usually talk to people, during a free throw or something, say, hey, watch out. We would have talked to Steve and Elon, right? And what you said to those guys, those players, as looks like they're going at it on the court? What would you have told them?
Well,
Uh-oh.
it's really simple. It's a lack of sportsmanship. The way they're communicating between one another, it's a lack of sportsmanship. Uh, you have Elon Musk. He makes a tweet, right, and it's all surrounding I believe it's the H-1B visa. So we're beckoning substitutions into the United States of America. We want them to wait till they've been legally beckoned onto the court, onto the playing field, and there's been some communication between certain aspects of the Republican supporters and the MAGA group, not really liking Elon and Vivek's direction in this. They're wanting to make this more accessible and bring in people who are bright individuals, engineers, and different things to propel our economy and our country. So Musk is tweeting out saying, "Hey, I'm part of this thing that people benefit from. These visas that
Yeah,
people
he
come here
benefits. He gets a benefit from those smart guys.
and in a way, we do too. Anyone who's ever drove a Tesla truck, right, benefits from America's ability and willingness to bring in immigrants, give them opportunities, give them access to the culture, capitalism, all of these things. And so we all benefit from it, absolutely. But Elon Musk basically made a tweet saying, hey, I'm a product of this. So if you don't like it, you don't like me. And then what he says after that's completely out of line. Bannon responds. So we had a technical foul initially on Musk, but Bannon then responds, calling Musk a toddler. Instead of de-escalating it, he continues to escalate it. And so now we got a double technical foul.
And the second guy in a fight on the court, sometimes we missed the first thing, except in this case, right. Elon, you couldn't miss what I know you couldn't miss what he did. So sometimes the second guy gets punished more than the first guy. But if you ever see referees after a call and there's a question, you see referees get together, that's a good thing because they're getting together to discuss, hey, what happened here? What should we do? How do we handle this on the court? And we got together tonight. I didn't know. And without, we don't drop any bombs here, F-bombs or anything, but you want to just share what Elon Musk wrote to the American public, which is, unsportsmanlike conduct. If he does that again, we're going to throw him out of the game. If he does it, out of the game. But
this is going to be an issue. I mean, if he's going to stay in the game, he's going to have to pay attention to the warnings. And there's a lot of people who are pretty unhappy that are supporters of Elon Musk, that are supporters of Doge, and everything that's going to be the Department of Government Efficiency and Ramaswamy and, billionaires who have their own successful businesses trying to step in and give advice on the finances of America. People support that. But even those supporters are saying, hey, this is no way to talk. If you're in a position of leadership with this much power, you don't say F yourself in the face to anybody at any point in time.
That's what he said. So he said on X, on X or Twitter, whatever you call it, he said, F yourself in the face, which is, he borrowed a line from a Tom Cruise movie. And, you're talking about some people don't like it. Imagine this, folks, like you're at a basketball game and half the stands are full of MAGA supporters, right? But they don't want that Elon Musk. They don't want that, as you said earlier, they don't want that guy that's getting beckoned into the game. Those people with the visa, they don't want that guy. They're booing. That's like, I don't know why, but they're booing
America first.
They're booing America first. The MAGA fans are booing. And so we're used to the crowd getting wild at games and heckling us, but not too often do they heckle their own team, right? And that's what we're saying. That's what the political refs are saying. Hey, wait a minute. We can't have a fight on the same team on the court. So we'll follow up on this in weeks ahead with the political refs. Anything else you want to add on that topic?
No, it's a double technical foul. They both need to get it together. Obviously, the first person pushes or shoves or hits someone, we may not catch that. It's always the second person who gets caught. So Bannon has to leave it alone. He has to come back. elevated and mature, or else he's a toddler as well. To call him a toddler and to escalate it rather than de-escalate it, we can't have that. So now we have to assess both technicals, talk to the coaches, and keep these two players in check if they're going to remain on the court. It's that simple.
And hopefully, Coach Donald Trump, the president to be, he will get them together, straighten them out, and say, "Hey, you guys, we're teammates. We can't fight."
Well, Coach, and he's kind of like Bill Belichick. He's not the coach yet. Of North Carolina. I like that move. I hope that goes well for him. He's not the coach yet, but Coach hasn't said anything. The incoming coach hasn't said anything. So, and that's one of those things that's unfolding right in front of us.
Yeah. So let's see. Let's go to our next topic here as we're rolling along. Let's see. I got some topics here. Hold the phones, folks. It's a timeout on the court. Oh, so Canada, we got in the last couple weeks, Canada, Panama Canal, Greenland. Of course, Ukraine's been there for a long time, but
now what do you have a call on this? What's your call going to be on this?
Yeah, I think that we're going to have to call delay a game, because Trump is delaying the success of his inauguration, perhaps, and his presidency early, because he's already out there spewing stuff about how he's going to score, 30 points on Canada. He's going to take over the game in Panama, and I don't know. That's probably one. Probably a delay a game we would call on him. You think of anything else we could call, because it's not making him look good America.
The only call I had on it was out of bounds.
Now that's a better call. That's when the refs get together. Good job.
We'll come together. I don't think it was intentionally delaying the game. I think it was just out of bounds. Needs to get back in the playing field. Needs to keep the eye on the prize, and get things done right here inside our four lines.
Yeah, the player was out of bounds before I called the delay a game. Good call. Good call.
And I mean, the whole situation with that, I seen reporters, the news kind of talking about the Canadian thing. It was my understanding it was more of a joking dialogue between Trump and Canadian leadership at a dinner, where basically the Canadian leadership is saying, hey, we don't have the capacity to take on these tariffs at 25%. He says, well, we could buy you out. You could become the 51st state. So I don't think that's as serious, or his intentions to on-take Canada is as serious as his intentions for Panama Canal, both of which are outside the lines. And obviously the irony of Jimmy Carter and its connection to Panama Canal, and now, where we're going with this. I really don't have too much to say about whether or not America's in control of what's going through and out of Panama Canal. I know that we've had a relationship with Panama and the canal there, and different measures to assist and keep up the maintenance and different things like that. So if we're involved in it, we're involved in it. If we're not, I don't think we should get involved in it. But I don't know the amount of Americans there, how many people are fluently active inside of the canal, and how much we have control of it or the lack thereof.
Yeah, I think, and as you mentioned, and we're going to get in a little while, talk about Jimmy Carter, because this, in our inaugural the Political Refs podcast, this very day, Jimmy Carter passed away, went to heaven, and God rest his soul. But we'll talk about that in a little bit, because we got the award for him. But yeah, I know some of the things you hear about this is, and as referees, we got to look at everything. Some people are saying that China is trying to infiltrate the Panama Canal to dominate or control the canal. They're building projects in Panama. And so Trump may be, some of this, not unlike in sports, they call it locker room trash talk, right? He's putting stuff up on the bulletin board that's getting people upset. I don't know if that's good or bad, but he's trash talking ahead of the game. Yeah. As we talked about, he's kind of out of bounds on some of this stuff, so he's trash talking.
Which we know this team. We know this team. That's how they play. They're going to talk. They're going to have, their banter. I don't think we've ever quite seen a player like this. He does all the talking. he's kind of like Muhammad Ali going into the ring. The fight hasn't even started. You know, he's
Would you
talking.
would you say there's never ever been anything like this before? Never ever
Never,
anything this great?
never.
Never been anything this great. Yeah, it is. It's a great analogy, like Muhammad Ali, one of a kind, or Pele in soccer. I'm trying to think of some other sports, or Tom
Yeah,
Brady in
he's
football.
all for the trash talk. He's all for the trash talk, and it makes it hard for individuals inside the country to kind of weigh what he's saying and know what to take for truth and what to take, with a grain of salt and just say, oh, he's just talking. That's why the whole 51st state Canadian becoming the 51st state, the Panama Canal, you have to take it all, a little bit serious because you never really know Trump.
Yeah, I talked to a friend, a business acquaintance in Canada, and I think in general, Canada does kind of look at it as tongue in cheek trash talk, and but it doesn't endear Canada to the United States. And I respect, actually, on the positive side, as much as we have fun with this player because he's a prolific scorer as an elected official, Donald Trump is. But I think that there probably should be some attention paid to the border, in the northern border, because everybody talks about the southern border with Mexico.
Right.
But hey, I mean, Canada has a bigger border than Mexico,
Yeah.
and stuff could come in.
A lot of times, what's coming in from the south will swoop up to the north, or different things that are coming from the east. They'll come through the north. So I mean, if it were legitimate and it were to become the 51st state, I don't think that it would be bad for America. Because it would empower us a little bit more. It would give us a boost to different things we can do financially and what we would ask for Congress and
yeah, natural resources up there and the beauty of it, and
then you have a whole country that separates you from what your old northern border used to be. But like I said, I don't know how legitimate it is.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like if somebody has got his ear about the Canadian border, as tariffs with Canada or whatever. Do you ever have a big senator say, "Hey, ref, he's pulling on my jersey. Watch him. He's holding me. He's got his hand. He's holding me. Ref, he's holding me." So then we watch it, right? So now we're paying a little bit more attention to.
Yeah, we'll watch.
We'll watch it. We'll be watching all these things. Oh, that's good stuff. Okay, so we covered the the infighting on the same team with Bannon and Musk. And we've covered the nations being discussed. Let's see what else. What else? Good stuff we got.
Let me do this because I want to call unsportsmanlike. I want to call another unsportsmanlike warning to Jasmine Crockett. I don't know if you know her. I never really paid too much attention to names when we said we're going to do this podcast and everything like that. I kind of started jotting down names with comments that I heard. So, Jasmine Crockett, I was just watching the news. I'm trying to keep up with the news a little bit more rather than just,
Yeah, Congresswoman from Texas, fairly new, just been like 2 or 3 terms.
Yeah, so I'm watching this thing with her, and her comment was Trump and his minions. Trump and his minions. So I got a warning, unsportsmanlike. We can't have this because as the Democratic Party, the idea has been one of the big reasons people didn't want Trump back in office is the divisiveness, right? The rhetoric that's sewn into everyday citizens that puts this wedge between you, I, and the other. And so it's got to be a warning. I don't think it's a good idea. The bench decorum. We have to keep the bench down.
Yeah,
got to keep the bench down. The bench decorum cannot. I don't think it's a good idea to refer to Musk as the president or the puppeteer or Trump and his minions. I don't think that these things are going to be good because whether we like it or not, for the next 4 years, this is who the president is, and this is who the party is going to be. So if there's division, and we're already seeing some division in the Republican Party, if there's going to be strife and division within that party, it's not going to benefit America because, It's just not going to benefit America. Not a lot of things going to get done.
Yeah.
Whether we like this or not, and people have talked about Biden's condition mentally or age or anything like that. One thing that the party was divided. They were together. The
Right.
Democratic Party was divided, was together. No one overspoke Biden. No one undermined Biden. No one called Harris or the Clintons or the Obamas the president. And I think there's some consultation going on with inside the Democratic Party because they move as one. And so it's going to be important as objective Americans to not sow more division over the next 4 years than may already be happening.
Yeah, great point, Justin. Great point, because that's kind of part of why we're doing this is we don't want division on our court in Washington, D.C., on the court of political discussion. But I do think the Democrats probably now will have to go into the portal, right? They're going to have to go to the portal and find some superstar players that they can bring out. Now, with Jasmine Crockett, so in your mind, she's got like 4 fouls this week then, and she better not be saying
well,
much more.
I seen one, and I'm giving the warning. I'm issuing the warning. I'm sure that I'll see more because she's not going to see this or hear this or pay attention to it. She might love it.
You never know. You never know. The political ref, it could go viral, folks. That's why we say like, subscribe, follow, share this. If anybody knows Jasmine Crockett, remember, Justin Criddle. Now, I would have got together before the game. We probably would have, if we would have known we were going to have her in the game, I might have said, she's a great, I think she's an up and coming star. She's just a freshman, really. She's just a freshman. She's got a little to learn, but she's very colorful. She's kind of like the Deion Sanders of the Congress, because she has a lot. She came up with some clever names for Marjorie Taylor Greene. I won't even say what she called her early on. That's what really made her famous. It was blonde. I don't want to say it. A referee shouldn't say that, but I think she's.
Like I said, I didn't see anything. I hadn't really paid any attention. Hadn't really come across my radar. Only the big players is who's come across my radar. That's the only thing I really paid to is the mainstream. But doing this podcast, I want to make sure that I know what's
keep
going
an eye on it.
Who all the players are, who's worth listening to, who's worth not listening to. And then, that's kind of how I heard about Bannon. Obviously, you know about Musk already, but Bannon's a little bit down in tiers as far as popularity and pool and power and finance and wealth and all those things. He's not on Musk level. So I never heard of him, never heard of Crockett, Jasmine Crockett. But
well, and that's one of the things, folks, that on the political refs, just like referees do in the locker room before the game, they discuss the players in the game. They discuss the coaches. Hey, this is, I've had him before, and they talk a lot, and they're really not bad, or they are bad. We got to control them right away. But we're just trying to get Washington, D.C. to pay attention and say, hey, with a little bit of tongue in cheek, but really seriously, don't make us blow that whistle. When we get Jesse Hall on here, you're going to enjoy, because he is a colorful individual. He's refereed in the NBA. I mean, he's been in Sports Illustrated and holding Larry Bird back. We'll show that picture when he back in the 80s. Larry Bird is trying to fight with the guy, and here's Jesse Hall holding 6'8" Larry Bird. So Jesse can handle it, and he'll have some colorful and wonderful and clever things to say. And this is why people are going to hopefully enjoy the political refs and spread it around. So, okay. So, you know what? What do you think? We should, I don't know if there's any other action on the court, but we should, each week we're going to name the most valuable player.
Absolutely.
The MVP. And we try to have a lot of fun, but this one's really serious. And you tied it. Jimmy Carter, the former president of the United States, passed away today at the age of 100. Now, not only was Jimmy Carter president, but the things he did after his presidency in helping people, humankind, mankind, souls all over the world probably was as powerful as the things that he did during his presidency. And for me personally, I mean, Jimmy Carter was the very first president of the United States that I was ever eligible to vote for. Gerald Ford, who is a good man in heaven. I like Gerald Ford, but he followed the Richard Nixon thing. And I grew up in a small town in Nebraska, David City, Nebraska. Jimmy Carter from Plains, Georgia. Jimmy Carter smiled a lot. He had a kind of friendly, folksy way about him, and I kind of liked that. And I thought that's the kind of guy that I want to be my president. And so I voted for Jimmy Carter, and this day he's in heaven.
Yeah. So most valuable player definitely goes to Jimmy Carter. Republican, Democrat. Obviously, he was elected as a Democrat. Republican, Democrat, Independent. Doesn't matter. You never like to see American leaders pass. You never like to see certain times in America come and go. Especially something as fun as the 80s and 90s were, and the different leaders in there, and made a lot of progress for different individuals who enjoy the fruits of the labor today. The open-mindedness to accept certain individuals, to make America a great place, not just for a select few, but the entire group of Americans that live here. So rest in peace to Jimmy Carter, a great president, governor of Georgia, a great husband, all those things that you want to see in men.
Of a historical perspective, a lot of people say, "Whoa, he's the worst president ever." No, he's not the worst president ever. I'm gonna anybody that says that, I'm gonna throw them out of the arena. They're out of the arena.
There you go.
I'm gonna call the security guards. I'm gonna call the security guards. You get out of here.
There you go. I know the famous quote that came later. It was kind of the question between Ronald Reagan, and Ronald Reagan says, Are you in better shape than you were over the last 4 years? That's a lot of what we heard in this debate. Are you in better shape now than you were 4 years ago?
Yeah.
And, it is what it is. I mean, sometimes there's circumstances that create economic stress that don't necessarily fall on the shoulders of the president.
That's right. And lots of times it's the historical perspective. Sometimes the economy is delayed as to the good or the bad. Sometimes
it's a lagging result.
It's a lagging result.
Indicator.
Good
Very
job.
so.
Yeah, you're right. And so, folks, ask if you're younger and you don't remember Jimmy Carter, ask somebody about Jimmy Carter. If they say, "Oh, he was terrible," then you say, "You better get a hold of the political refs to watch him because you're getting thrown out of the arena." But so each week, so next week we'll have Jesse with us. I should say from a political perspective, so that you all know where we're at. We do this in seriousness to get people to think about being more fair on the court of Washington, D.C. I'm a registered Republican. Jesse Hall's a registered Democrat, and you are an independent, right?
I am the famous I.
The I. So we've got all sides of the political spectrum, and but yet we're not like hardline, because as referees, we have to, measure what's taking place on the court, in this case in Washington, D.C., and the leadership of America, and blow the whistle or calm the game down. And that's what we want to do. So from us in the heartland of America to you in Washington, D.C., wherever you are, hey, calm down, because the political refs are watching on the court of Washington, D.C.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And with that, we'll say good night. See you next Sunday night. Stay tuned. Spread the word. Like us, follow us, subscribe to us. Spread the word about the political refs, and it will get better each and every week. Anything, Justin, you want to say as we head out?
I think I would like to touch on that last topic. It is our job to be fair and unbiased. And I think that one of the main reasons for doing this show is to bring people from different age groups, different political affiliations, all these things, and bring together an American people who are not so far right, not so far left, but truly on board and in line with one another, the way that we can wake up day to day and just be peaceful, be prosperous, be secure, and plan for the future, rather than getting lost in the sauce of the things going on today, And so I think that we have a bigger agenda than just giving our opinion on this show. It's about being it's about being neutral and bringing people together, being objective for both sides, and just trying to get people to not take so much responsibility of their party. Try to be fair and try to correct your party if that's the party that you're aligned with, and try to be fair and reason with the other party if you're not aligned with them.
Yeah, that's right. And just like good fans of great teams, don't boo the opposition. Don't boo them off the court. We want a great sportsmanship in this what we're talking about, and we want people to leave the arena each week and go, you know what, that was a well-called game by the political refs, but yet better than that, I think they're making a difference in Washington, D.C. The players on the court maybe are acting different because they know that the referee and the whistle, we're watching.